Pandemonium reigns.
What is going on? Pandemonium reigns. I'm Dan, flying solo today. Mike has, work things. We do this for free. It is what it is. Maybe we should share our Venmo and our, PayPals with you so you could throw a little dollars our way. Just kidding. All we want from you is a like and a subscribe. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to talk 2024 Alabama Crimson Tide. First year head coach Kalen DeBoer going to be working with Jalen Milroe. And just a couple of questions surrounding Kalen DeBoer and Jalen Milroe. Things like, consider, what if Kalen DeBoer was really the best hire for a guy like Jalen Milroe who can maximize this guy's potential? Say what you want to about Milroe as a quarterback. I get it. There's arguments. He can do it. He can't do it. Will he do it at the next level? Again, it's all an argument. What you cannot argue over is the guy is a freak athlete. He can do all kinds of things with his legs. And again, coming from a Tennessee fan, rocking my Hendon Hooker jersey today. If you're watching on YouTube, may it bless your eyes. But say what you want to about Milroe. His deep ball in 2023 was one of the best. Now they would do this thing on first down where it'd be a fumble or a tackle for loss and, muff their own balls. Don't go to the gutter on me there. But then they turn around and throw one of the prettiest deep balls that you've seen, again, done by Jalen Milroe. So what if Kalen DeBoer was the best hired option for a guy like Jalen Milroe? What if Milroe is the best fit for a Kalen DeBoer offense? You don't know. You really don't know. Here's what we do know. We know that Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. We know that. Nick Saban is, again, coming from a Tennessee fan, the greatest of all time. You can't argue with it. Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban, but Kalen DeBoer is a really good football coach. The proof is in the pudding. Just check out his record. Look what he did. Look at what he did in his short time in Washington. All right. You just have to respect the guy. So there's a lot of questions that surround Alabama altogether. Who are they? What are they going to be? What's it going to look like? And I think if you're an Alabama fan, what you're going to have to get out of your head is this is not Nick Saban. This is not Nick Saban. This is not a Nick Saban-led football team. It's going to be different. If it's my guess, Kalen DeBoer says, we're just going to outscore you. We're going to run up down the field on you. We're going to march it down your throat, this way, that way, down the middle. And we're just going to put way more points on the board than you do. All right. Saban played a little bit different. Saban was also really good at adjusting to the times and, consider what he said about examples like Oregon in the early 2010s about the spade at which they went. And he would say things like, is this really what you want college football to be? And basically the community came back and said, yep. And Saban's like, all right, I can play that game. And he went out and won titles doing it. So Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban, but he was a really good hire, a really, really good hire. So before we get into this, I want to take this time to thank our sponsor, the one who is bringing you this episode today, Live Oaks Landscapes. Proud sponsor of the Pandemonium Raids podcast, located right here in Gainesville in the Cumming area. So my man, Paul Pruitt, is an Alabama fan, also the owner and operator of Live Oaks Landscapes. So they're going to do commercial and residential lawn maintenance, rental lawn maintenance, weed control and prevention, mosquito and gnat spraying and treatment, landscape design and installation, patio installation, fire pits, paver and flagstone patios, fireplaces, retaining walls, leaf removal, irrigation installation, commercial builds all over the Gainesville and Cumming area. If you're looking to give your grass in your yard, your property a makeover, Paul Pruitt is your guy. Call him today, right now, 678-591-9802, or you can email him liveoakslandscapes@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Paul and Live Oaks Landscapes, for being a proud sponsor of Pandemonium Reigns. All right, let's get into this. Here's the best way I know how to start this breakdown, this projection, if you will. I believe it was C.S. Lewis who said, I know I'm wrong in my theology. I just don't know where. Here's the deal. Here's what I mean by that. I know that I'm going to be wrong about Alabama somewhere at some point in this schedule breakdown. I just don't know where. For one, we have no idea who, what Alabama is going to be. As I've already stated, what is their DNA? What are they? This is arguably one of the most difficult, schedule projections that we have done. The floor and the ceiling, determining that is a little bit easier, right? There's some flexibility there because you can say it might be this, it might be that. But trying to nail down a projection in the final days of June with a brand new head coach coming off the greatest coach of all time, with an exodus of players. 35 players hit the transfer portal after Saban said he was done. Only 13 came in. Some really notable names like Caden Proctor. He was out, but now he's back in. So how do you even count that number? Maybe it's 34. All right. Maybe it's not 35. Maybe it's only 34. But he's back. That's important. They lose a big one. Caleb Downs in the secondary. He was an immediate impact player his true freshman year. And he's going to go do big things at Ohio State. That's a big loss. Then you have losses like Amari Niblack and Isaiah Bond and Roydell Williams, who were major factors in this Alabama offense. McClellan was the leading rusher. He's gone to the pros. I believe he's an Atlanta Falcon now. He was your leading rusher at 890 yards. Roydell Williams, off to Tallahassee, Florida, rushed for 560. Your third leading rusher was Jalen Milroe himself, again, a tribute to the freak athlete that he is. And then you got guys like Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, who are probably going to be, your 1-2 back there in Tuscaloosa. On the receiving end, your leading receiver was Jermaine Burton. He's gone. 798 yards, 8 scores. Isaiah Bond is now on the 40 acres in Texas wearing the burnt orange. 668 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was the reason, well, I guess you could blame Auburn for losing that game. I was going to say that he was the reason that they beat Auburn, but maybe not. So you got a lot of production gone on the offensive side. And in the portal, it hurt you more than it blessed you just because of the sheer number and volume. But don't be mistaken. The cupboard in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, it's not empty. And if Kalen DeBoer can maximize the potential of a Jalen Milroe, are they staring at the playoffs? How high is that ceiling? How much does it raise the floor? So a lot went out, very little came in, but the cupboard's not empty by any means. Some notable names, again, Malik Benson. Can Florida State get the potential out of him? He was not what they wanted in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And then you've got the addition, I think is an important addition, probably the most important outside of Caden Proctor, is Damani Jackson, corner out of Southern California. I'm going to put my money that he's going to be one of those starting corners. Day one, Tuscaloosa. Then you start to look at their schedule. So let's get into this thing. It's the first year in the SEC with Texas and Oklahoma being a part of the playing field. And let me just tell you, man, Alabama's situation is so favorable here. The number one reason it's extremely favorable is out of Texas and OU, they got OU. Now, they got them in Norman, Oklahoma, but they get them second last game of the year. So if there's any kind of speed bumps along the way and what the offense is going to be, if we're trying to figure it out, you would like to think they've got it figured out in game 13. All right, so that's extremely favorable for them. The second thing that's extremely favorable for them is your major toss-up games. I think your major toss-up games are Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, and Oklahoma. You could argue Auburn, and I could see why you would argue Auburn. Went toe-to-toe with them. I'll get more to that when I get to Auburn. But Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma. 3 of those 4 get a bye week before playing Alabama. So Georgia's going to get a bye week before playing Alabama. LSU is going to get a bye week before playing Alabama. And Oklahoma is going to get a bye week before playing Alabama. Tennessee, go figure. Go figure. They get Florida the week before Alabama. So do that what you will. And I actually said that was favorable to Alabama. That was wrong. That's obviously a mistake on my end. Not favorable for them. Maybe in the regards to the Tennessee game, but overall, it's a pretty favorable schedule. Most notably, they don't have Ole Miss on their schedule with the death of the West Division, right? They don't have Mississippi State, which is a game I really hate to see go. I find that as a rivalry, you know. Instead, they traded those for Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, South Carolina. So consider this: Vanderbilt, South Carolina on Alabama's schedule. I can tell you what those 2 teams have in common. They're going to suck, and I'm here for it. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to go through the schedule, and I'm going to talk so obviously give you a prediction, and then I'm going to give you a ceiling and give you a floor. And right before I get into this, Vegas has their over-under at 9.5. So will they win 9 games or 10 games? Tough. Again, I'm pretty sure it was C.S. Lewis. I know I'm wrong in my theology, but I just don't know where. I know that I'm about to be wrong somewhere. Okay. And I could be big time wrong, little wrong, whatever. I'm going to be wrong just because of how hard it is to predict Alabama, who they are, whatever, this time of the year. You're like, Dan, that's everybody. Nah, Georgia. It's not everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not. There's this one. This one came with a lot of difficulty, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Okay. So they're going to start off 2-0. They're going to start by hosting Western Kentucky, and then they're going to host South Florida. And the former Tennessee offense coordinator, still head coach of South Florida, who gave them a run for their money in Tampa last year. South Florida went toe-to-toe with them for a little bit. Things just kind of fell through, in the final quarter. But I got them going 2-0, especially with that South Florida game being in Tuscaloosa. Do I think South Florida is going to be improved? Yes. Do I think they're going to be that improved in order to pull off an upset against Alabama? No. 2-0, Tuscaloosa. And then they're going to travel to Madison, Wisconsin. And I can't wait to see this. I cannot wait to see this. Imagine if we get a night game in Madison, Wisconsin. Just imagine. Can Wisconsin do enough to hold down things and make sure they don't go totally bonkers? Can they be within 7? Can they be within a score by the end of the third quarter when they do the end of the third quarter jump around? That place would go bonkers. All right. And my TV will be tuned to that. Absolutely. However, even though Wisconsin has the addition of a Tyler Van Dyke, they're coming off a 7-6 season in which they went 5-4 in their conference. Year 2 of Luke Fickell. I don't think any of this matters. I don't think it matters that it's in Madison, Wisconsin. Just the talent gap that is Wisconsin and Alabama, it favors Alabama way too much. Especially with Coach Fickell, who's still trying to figure this out. And then you got Oregon and Washington and UCLA and Southern Cal joining that conference. I'm not real sure who they drew, out of that rotation, but I just don't think it matters. I'm going to take Bama. Bama's off to a 3-0 start. They're going to get a bye week. And this bye week for them is going to come at a really great time. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Here's the favorable part for this. My mind is just, hey, I'm a dad. I'm 37 years old. Get off my back. So here's a favorable part for the Alabama schedule. They get a bye week, and then they get to host Georgia. They get, you got to think that this Alabama-Wisconsin game is not going to take too much out of them. You would like to think so. Now, we've seen crazier things, right? They're going to get a chance to rest and prepare for Alabama. The only problem is Georgia gets to do the same thing. Georgia is going to get to play at Kentucky while Alabama is playing at Wisconsin, and they're going to get a bye week. So because of that, man, this is tough. New offensive system, returning quarterback Jalen Milroe, Carson Beck. At the moment, a Heisman frontrunner. Loaded cupboard. You got to believe that Georgia is out for blood in this one. You know, with the way that things unfolded in Atlanta for the SEC championship game last season. The question is, can Georgia get it done in Tuscaloosa? Can Georgia get it done in the regular season against Alabama? They just haven't. It hasn't happened until this year. I'm going to take, and this irks me because this is one of those games as a Tennessee fan where I'm just thinking, man, can they both just do something illegal where they go to jail? Nobody's in harm, but they have to forfeit, you know? They've got a big asterisk up against this game because they weren't able to play it. I'm going to take Georgia, and it pains me. Oh, it pains me. But at the same time, as a Tennessee fan, like, either way would pain me. Like, I don't want Kalen DeBoer to get off to a great start and get a win over Georgia. I don't want that. But I don't want Georgia to get this either. There's my fandom talking. I've got to make a decision, though. They're both coming off bye weeks. You just lost your GOAT. The GOAT. Kirby's back. Kirby's making a heck of an argument for the greatest coach of all time now. We hadn't seen the team go back-to-back in a really long time. They're coming for blood. I'm going to take Georgia. All right. Then they're going to turn around. So they're now at 3-1. They're going to turn around. They're going to travel to hostile Vanderbilt. That was a joke. They're going to get a win. They're going to travel back home. They're going to host South Carolina. They're going to get a win. Shane Beamer is fighting for his job. And is Lenore Sellers going to get this done? I don't think so. Who else? Not the neighbors. His name. He's a freak athlete. He's a big receiver. They didn't know what to do with him for the majority of the season. His name is totally Nick Harbor. Maybe that's it. It's not enough. It's just not enough. All right. That is a win for Bama. And then they travel to Knoxville, Tennessee, where the storyline is going to be. Do you remember what happened last time Alabama came to Knoxville? And how many references we're going to get to the goalpost ending up in the Tennessee River? Me and Mike were there for it. It was a beautiful scene. I've never seen so much orange in my life. Orange was in the sky, it was in the stadium, and it was swarmed all over the field. And then we took that thing and we threw it in the river. 52-49, Tennessee. Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, 5 times. Can they do it again? Clay Travis made a bold prediction on this one. Clay Travis said that Tennessee's going to win this game by double digits. By double digits? Bro, what? We've beaten them once in 17 years, 18 years? I don't math well. It's been a long time. One time? Here's the unfortunate part. And I really tried to see this through non-orange goggles. And I still came out with a Bama loss right here. I think it's the Neyland factor. And I pray to the good Lord Jesus Almighty that I get to witness this firsthand again. Oh my gosh, what I would do. If anybody wants to Venmo me some cash where I can get a ticket to this game, man, I would kiss your face, hug your neck. We'd be best friends. I have to make a prediction. I've got to make a prediction. This is really going to be Kalen DeBoer's first true road game in this conference. You know, they've played at Wisconsin by this point. Everything else has been a home game. I mean, Nashville, that's not it. They haven't really played anything outside of Georgia up to this point. I got to pick them. I got to do it. I got to take Tennessee here. I think that Tennessee is going to be coming off a win against Florida. We're going to be riding a wave of no momentum. The question for this game is, how good is Nico? We will go as Nico goes. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to take a Tennessee win here. Okay. So at that point, we've got 5 wins, 2 losses, and then they're going to turn around and host a really, really good Missouri team. Brady Cook, as much as I hate to say this because Eli Drinkwitz and anything Missouri just drives me insane, they are almost just as annoying as Texas A&M with their milkman cheerleaders. Missouri's good, y'all. They're going to be really, really good. They're going to be right there on the cusp of being a playoff team. Don't be surprised if Missouri is in the playoffs. But it's in Tuscaloosa. And Bama just doesn't really lose back-to-back games. They didn't under Saban. Will they do it under DeBoer? Again, say what you want to, man. DeBoer's a really good coach. His track record is next level. I'm gonna take Bama here. They're gonna get a bye. They're gonna bye week. And here's the second extremely favorable part about the Alabama schedule. A bye week and then LSU. They got a bye week before Georgia, and now they're getting another bye week before LSU. Now, Georgia and LSU are the only 2 games that they are not favored in out of their entire schedule. They're favored in 10 of their 12 games. At LSU, his offense is projected to be really, really good again. Can they get stops, though? Are we going to get an LSU Ole Miss game like we got in 23? I hope so. That'd be awesome. This game's in Baton Rouge. Please give me a night game in Tiger Stadium. Please. Lord, hear my cries. Give me a night game. I got to make a decision in late June. I told you. I know I'm wrong. I just don't know where I'm wrong. But I got to make a prediction now. I'm going to take LSU right here. That currently puts Bama at 3 losses in the regular. We just haven't seen this. And just because we haven't seen it does not put it outside the realm of possibility. There's so many new factors for Bama. This is not the Bama of old. It's different. Doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they're better. It's just different. And we as college football fans, we don't adjust well to different. We love to say, well, this is the way that it's been. It is a cyclical game. Things change. They circle back around. I've got them 3 losses at this point. If you're listening to this, don't put this in your notepad on your phone and say, man, Dan from Pandemonium Reigns said this, and put it in stone. I've told you 100 times. I know I'm going to be wrong. I just don't know where. And I'm making a prediction in June. They're going to turn around and host Mercer. That's a win. And they're going to travel out to Norman, Oklahoma. Something Gaylord Stadium. It's going to be on fire. Should be anyway. It's going to be crazy. I can't give Alabama 4 losses at this point. I can't do it. Again, Oklahoma's going to play Missouri. They're going to get a bye week and then Bama. That favors Oklahoma. It's in Norman. That favors Oklahoma. It's a gut call, man. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm taking a win. For Bama here. And then they're going to end the season, as they always do, in the Iron Bowl, hosting Auburn. What are we getting at Auburn? Year 2 of the Hugh Freeze era. They're going to be better, but the game is in Tuscaloosa. Auburn hasn't won in Tuscaloosa since Cam Newton was quarterback. That was 2010. It was a long time ago. A lot of things have changed since then. Imagine, though, if Auburn pulls this off. Imagine if Alabama loses this. Imagine a world where Alabama has lost to Tennessee and Auburn in the same season. And it's a brand new head coach, and his name is not Nick Saban Jr. How much grace is the Alabama fan base going to give to Kalen DeBoer? If they come out and lose to Georgia, get manhandled, imagine if they've got if they trade blows with Wisconsin and get a 3-point, one-score win in Madison, play some ugly football, maybe against South Carolina, against Missouri. And then you have these turnouts that I'm talking about. I would say Alabama fans, calm down. Don't go poison trees. Don't go killing nobody. Give this guy time. Listen, I love Josh Heupel. I'm glad Josh Heupel is my head coach. But I wouldn't complain if I had a Kalen DeBoer. Would not complain at all. Be like, we need to give this guy time. Give him time. So here's the deal. I have Alabama with a 9-3 prediction. You could easily trade out one of these losses. You could say they're going to win this Tennessee game but lose the Auburn game. They're going to win this LSU game but lose the Missouri game. There's a lot of interchanging elements here. Wouldn't be surprised at any of it. I will not be surprised if I'm wrong. I will not be surprised. I won't be surprised. Clay Travis says that we're going to win this game by double digits. I won't be surprised if Bama comes and wins this game by 30. Not going to be surprised. Not going to be surprised. So I've got it at 9-3. I got their ceiling at 11-1. There is not a game on this schedule where I say they can't do it. I think they can win every one of these. Again, they're favored in 10 of the 12. Georgia's just really good. I probably feel best about that one. So I'm going to say the ceiling. You're going to lose one. You go 12-0. Goodness, what will this world come to? You'll be forgetting Nick Saban real quick, Tide fans. 11-1. That's my ceiling. The floor is tricky. Because potentially, you could lose Georgia. You could lose Tennessee. You could lose Missouri. You could lose LSU. You could lose Oklahoma. You could lose Auburn. Could. But I don't think you're going to lose 6 games. I don't think you're going to lose 5 games. 4 is my floor. 8-4 is my floor. Worst case scenario. Things are just not clicking. The offense is just not humming yet. It is what it is. There's a change at the helm. You're not firing all cylinders. 8-4. 8-4. You could even argue that 9-3 is the floor. They're loaded with talent. They're loaded. Who are they going to be? What are they going to do? What are they capable of? What is it going to look like for Kalen DeBoer and Jalen Milroe to operate together? Heck, what if Milroe gets hurt? Could that be a disaster? Or could that be a blessing? Could DeBoer be like, I like this guy. I like this next guy. I can do more. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. With that said, I'm out of words. I don't know what else to say about Alabama. Matter of fact, I've said Alabama so many times, I'm ready to vomit in my mouth. There's too much orange blood in me. I thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. I want to apologize to you guys. Our episodes have been far and few in between. I've been to a third world country. Mike has a job. I have a job. I'm a youth pastor. My summer schedule is crazy. I'm doing this on my day off. The best thing that you could do for us is hit like on this video, is hit subscribe, send us your support, just by hitting the buttons. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. I want to say that I love you guys. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Make sure you find an Alabama fan and you send them this episode and let them know exactly what you think. And drop down in the comments, where you think I'm wrong. I'm cool with it. I'm a big boy. I got thick skin. I can handle it. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We are counting down the days. until the college football season and until July 16th, the release, at least the early release for the new college football game. Will you be rolling with the Tide, or are you saved by the grace of God, and are you rolling with the Vols? I love you guys. God bless. Go Vols.
Pandemonium reigns.